The fans want to see blood, sweat, and tears. He's always in tremendous fights, and he's a very exciting knockout artist. And that's what boxing is about. It's about giving the people and the fans what they want to see.
He's coming up in weight. He came up in weight I don't see. Honestly, I don't see him. He's a good fighter, but I don't see. He's nothing in his past.
Saying have a fight, yes, but have it at 140. Fighting anyone at 140 would be more exciting than this fight against Lamont Roach.
Floyd Mayweather evaluated Von Davis versus Lamont Roach, highlighting Tank's strength, quickness, and experience. He feels that Roach is competent, but not strong enough to withstand Davis's unrelenting pressure and knockout capabilities.
But I must say this, the most exciting fighter that's acting and fighting in boxing right now is Gervonta Tank Davis. When Gervonta Tank Davis go out there and fight, he reminds me of Pretty Boy Floyd. Because Pretty Boy Floyd, you couldn't go get no popcorn. You couldn't go get no soda. You couldn't go get no candy. You don't want to miss nothing.
Prominent boxing analyst Al Bernstein has voiced doubts about Lamont Roach's capacity to defeat John Tank. According to Davis Bernstein, Roach's prior performances don't demonstrate the strength required to defeat a strong opponent like Davis, who has an outstanding record and numerous titles. Many have questioned if the upcoming fight will be competitive as a result of this viewpoint.
Too about the big one coming up in a month. Another guy you called several of his fights, Gervonta Davis, fighting Lamont Roach, is a significant favorite. Do you think Roach is being undervalued as an underdog, or it will probably go the way people think it will go?
Roach is coming up in weight. He came up in weight I don't see. Honestly, I don't see him. He's a good fighter, but I don't see. He's nothing in his past tells me he's going to beat Gervonta Davis or even be competitive with him. And I'm not. It's not a denigration of Lamont Roach. He's a good fighter. He won a title at a lower weight, and that was a surprise to some people that he did get, even though he was a good prospect. So it's just hard to imagine him beating Davis.
The other Davis is fighting for a world title 2 weeks before in New York against Baranchik.
Oh yeah, Keyshawn Davis. That's a fascinating fight.
Reactions to the impending bout between Lamont Roach and Gervonta Tank Davis have been divided, with some calling it a cherry pick because Roach is now 130 pounds heavier than former professional fighter Dawood. Bay examines the bout, highlighting the lengthy boxing histories of Baltimore and Washington, D.C., and says that Roach's camp is formidable. He anticipates a hard battle rather than a simple victory for Davis. Bay emphasizes Davis's standing in the sport and says that unless he competes against well-known athletes like Shakur Stevenson or Devin Haney, criticism will inevitably come. He also forecasts an entertaining DMV showdown with lots of action.
Gervonta Davis, Lamont Roach. A lot of people shitting on the fight. A lot of people saying it's a cherry pick. A lot of people saying that, or criticizing Tank for bringing Lamont up to 130. What's your thoughts on the fight?
I think if you understand the history of D.C. and Baltimore, and then I'm familiar with Roach and them camp a little bit because I'm cool with people that's tight with them and stuff like that. So we all kind of encounter each other. I don't live nothing but 2.5 hours away, right? I wouldn't see none of them coming and laying down. And then Tank is Tank. I think you're going to get a DMV classic. Like, you're going to get a good fight. They're going to fight each other. Lamont going to fight Tank. You know what I'm saying? So for however long it lasts, or for however long the fireworks is, you know what I mean, going off, he going to fight him. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he going to come out there to lay down. So, I don't know. I mean, people going to criticize you no matter what, though, once you get in, like, tank position. It don't really matter what you do. Like, if you wasn't fighting, like, Shakur or Devin right now, this next fight, it's probably, like, 3 people he could be fighting, and nobody wouldn't have nothing to say. You understand what I'm trying to say? Not to say that some fights can't be, like, better than others or whatever, but, yeah, if he wasn't fighting Devin, Shakur, or, like Tiafimo, somebody gonna say like it's a cherry pick or everything. I mean, everybody's a cherry pick. Leave it up to them.
Concerns have been raised by the boxing community regarding Davis's choice of Lamont Roach as his next opponent. According to detractors, Davis is avoiding more difficult bouts against elite competitors like Shakur Stevenson. The choice to take on Roach, who is thought to be a weaker opponent, has generated discussions on Davis's commitment to compete against the best in the division and charges of cherry picking.
Biggest puncher, I feel, at the 135 will probably be Gervonta Tank Davis. But the most skillful fighter at 135 will be hands down Shakur Stevens.
And what is it about him? Because I know he have a lot of good attributes, but do you think he has enough power?
Well, it's really all about skills. Pernell Whitaker wasn't a huge puncher, but he was, very exciting, very tough, and he fought everybody. And Shakur is trying to do the same thing. He want to fight the best they got out there. He's asking, can he fight the best? I believe his contract is coming to an end, so hopefully we can come together and I can take him to that next level and give him the fights that he want.
Despite being a world champion, Lamont Roach is not well known to the general public. This makes it seem like Davis has picked an easy fight, but supporters of Roach contend that his status as the underdog could benefit him because opponents might underestimate his ring prowess. Shields acknowledges Roach's potential, but highlights Davis's impressive record and skill set.
Garcia beat him, so Lamont Roach is a good fighter, but and I'm happy to see a fighter like Lamont Roach, who's had to come up the blue-collar way, get a big opportunity, get a big payday. But now that I've said that, it's an underwhelming fight, and everybody's saying that because it's true. And this is a fight that would have made more sense for Gervonta Davis a couple years ago, back when Gary Russell was rumored as an opponent. And this would be, like a good DMV rivalry, two guys from the DMV area. But in 2024, when Tank's already headlined a lot of pay-per-views, it's underwhelming. And before the Gervonta Davis fans try to come at my throat, I get it. Lomachenko walked away from the table. Of course, that's after, some years earlier of Tank saying he wasn't interested in that fight. Fight was never officially negotiated by Top Rank or PBC, but for years, Gervonta had no real intention of fighting Lomachenko. And now Lomachenko has walked away from the table now that the fight's available. I understand that. I understand Shakur Stevenson really is opting more the Williams Zepeda route. I understand that Teofimo Lopez has only really called Davis out once the Lamont Roach fight was really being talked about around Canelo Berlanga fight week and was close to probably being finalized.
De La Hoya agrees, calling the Tank a beast and implying that even if Pooh is a skilled fighter, confronting Davis will be extremely difficult and may make for a difficult evening for Pooh.
No, I think Lamont Roach is a terrific fighter. He might be a little over his head with Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis is, to say the least, he's a beast. He really is. He's a tremendous fighter. He's a dedicated fighter when it comes to training and fighting and making sure that he's in optimal conditions when he steps inside that squared circle. It's going to be a tough night for Roach, but you can never count him out. Watching him fight up close and personal, he's sneaky good, which means he can catch you at any time. He can land combinations, sometimes at will, without you even knowing it. He's that sneaky. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting. But, obviously Gervonta Davis has the experience. He has the knowledge. He has that mean streak in him that will take you out with any punch.
Citing personal reasons and a need to prioritize his family and mental health, John Davis recently declared his intention to retire at the end of 2025. This decision has affected his opponent's selection, since he has chosen Lamont Roach for his next bout.
Here's my take on the fight. Everything is true about this situation. One, Gervonta Tank Davis was being ducked leading up to this. Shakur Stevenson ducked him. Lomachenko ducked him openly. El Rayo didn't want to fight this year. He wanted to fight next year. Another thing is, I was hearing that Tank wanted it at 135 and rehydration, all kind of shit. But I don't know how true that is, which
it wouldn't shock me if that was true. Either way, for whatever reason, El Rayo fell apart. The options were just getting diabolical. All right, I understand that. At the same time, Lamont Roach versus Tank is trash. If Devin Haney announced he was fighting Lamont Roach coming up from 130 next, at 135, I'll say that shit's trash. Let me tell you this. To me, Gervonta is far better than Devin Haney. So it's trash, bruh. It's trash.
Some speculate that Davis aims to secure manageable victories before his retirement, while others believe he is providing opportunities for lesser-known fighters to gain exposure and financial benefits. Devin Haney says he doesn't believe that Tank is going to retire this soon.
Reaction to Tank retiring?
He's retiring?
That's what he said.
Nah, he's not retiring. It's not a big fight to be made out there, and Tank knows that. I don't think he's gonna retire, with a lot of unfinished business.
What do you make of the Tank versus Roach fight? Do you think it's a fight that Tank should have at this point of his career?
No comment.
What do you make of a Tank?
Lamont Roach, we've been cool since we was in the amateurs. So I'm happy that he got the opportunity, and that's all I can say.
And what about Tank Shakur? If that fight happens in the future, who do you see winning?
It's a good fight for boxing. I think that we should all be fighting each other. That's what boxing is about. It's the best fighting the best.
Lamont Roach is being criticized by others merely because they are unaware of him or his achievements, in contrast to Tank. Even though Davis is well known and has a lot of exposure, his opponent, Pooh, hasn't gotten the same attention from Tank fans because they've witnessed his knockouts, dominance, and championship victories. Pooh is still underappreciated, but that doesn't mean he isn't a threat. He is a world champion for a reason, and this fight is his opportunity to show that he belongs at the top. While some critics may be sleeping on him, Pooh is prepared to wake them up.
Big hair, don't care. On the way to the gym, and I'm just totally perplexed. I see a lot of people on Twitter and on the internet talking about disdain when it comes to, the Tank fight with Lamont Roach. I'm like, what's the problem? They act like Lamont Roach has not fought anybody and he isn't anybody. His only loss is against a former world champion in Jamel Herring. His last two fights with McCrory and Hector Luis Garcia, they were fire. This is a legitimate matchup. I don't know what the problem is. Everybody says that Tank needs to fight someone. Now he's fighting someone, and people have something to say. What do y'all want? What do y'all want from these guys? These are the matchups we want to see. It's going to be good. I'm not going to say who I'm picking right now because I want to see more, but respect to both guys.
In response to complaints that Davis is choosing easier fights, boxing analyst Showbiz the Adult has proposed that Gervonta Davis think about moving up to the 140 pounds weight class in order to take on more formidable opponents. He contends that this would result in more thrilling and competitive fights. This viewpoint is in line with supporters' wishes to see Davis take on more difficult opponents.
Saying have a fight, yes, but have it at 140. Fighting anyone at 140 would be more exciting than this fight against Lamont Roach. Nothing against Lamont Roach, but I'm telling you, Gervonta Tank Davis fanboys, not the fans, but the fanboys, you're not going to be able to convince people that Lamont Roach is someone to get excited about versus Tank. It's not going to happen. You're going to try to call people casuals or whatever. But really, people who really knows boxing, they know that Gervonta Tank Davis is too much for Lamont Roach, right? Now, I was saying go up to 140. Fight who, Showbiz? Fight anybody. Just have a fight at 140. And when you see in hindsight that Teofimo Lopez and Devin the American Dream Haney is now negotiating for their fight, you can understand now why I would say something like that. He has a fight at 140, then he takes on the Teofimo Lopez and Devin the American Dream Haney winner.
It's interesting to note that Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis have a history that dates back to their amateur days. Roach remembers facing Davis twice. first in regional tournaments, and then at the national level in Baltimore. These previous meetings give their upcoming professional fight an intriguing dimension because both fighters have changed a lot since their amateur days.
We fought twice in the same tournament. So,
that's different.
Yeah, and we fought in the Junior Olympics, in the regionals, and we fought in the nationals.
Okay.
You fought in the regionals and then fought again in the nationals?
Yeah. So we fought in the regionals in Baltimore in his hometown. It was a close fight. Obviously, I thought I won. There was like an incident where a point got taken from both of us, and it only should have been him, or whatever the case may be. And we sent the tape to USA Boxing, and USA Boxing sent us an at-large bid to go to the nationals.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, and then they put us on two different sides of the bracket, and we met up in the championship.
And he took it again.
Yeah, he won a close fight, and I
close
thought I won that one too.
30 people, knocked out what, 28 of them, right? What makes you different?
He probably can't answer that question. He probably can't answer that question. But it's the skill, the will. I got the whole package, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not sitting there waiting to get hit by nobody, especially somebody that's supposed to be a power puncher. That's evidently a power puncher. I got too much. I got too much for me to go out like that. I'm not saying he don't, but I can't. Like, if anything, I'm trying to flip it around. I'm trying to make it flip the narrative. Like, I'm the one in there.
Despite his credentials, Lamont Roach is still underappreciated by many boxing fans, which could affect the dynamics of the upcoming fight. Roach is currently ranked 3rd in the United States and 14th globally in the super featherweight division. He also holds the WBA title, confirming his status as a legitimate world champion.
Hey, yo, we're going to be checking for any suspicious opponents on Lamont Roach record. He's 25-1 with 10 big wins coming by the way of knockout, my people. He's in the super featherweight division. He's ranked number 14 in the world and number 3 in the USA, my people. He has a WBA title right now in the super featherweight division. He's fighting Gervonta Davis in December, but you know we got to check how he even got there and how he started his career. His pro debut, he went against Victor. He was 1-3. That's fine. It's your pro debut. First fight as a professional. You feel me? I ain't gonna get at you. Next person was 1-6. Alright, I mean, we ain't do better, but it's your second fight. Like, fourth person was 0-1. That was a little sussy because he ended up 0-10. He never won a day in his life. So he never got his hand raised in a boxing match. You feel me? And then the next person, he stepped it up though. He went to undefeated. It's only 2 fights, but he was 2-0. Then 12-9, that's a journey, man. I'm not gonna lie. 4-2, 3-4, these are looking good. 8-5. That's a journeyman in the making. He got to win a record.
Gervonta Davis, on the other hand, has chosen not to reply verbally, stating that he prefers to let his performance in the ring speak for itself. This contrast in pre-fight demeanor has increased anticipation as observers eagerly await how the tension translates into their in-ring performances. Lamont Roach has been vocal in the lead-up to the fight, engaging in trash talk from the beginning. According to boxing legend Mike Tyson, some people think John Davis had a more profound motivation for fighting Lamont Roach. Fighters may accept specific fights to support friends monetarily. According to this theory, Davis may be handing Pooh a sizable payout and publicity instead than aiming for the hardest challenge, even though Pooh is a good fighter. Many contend that Davis had more competitive choices, like Shakur Stevenson. If it's true that this battle might be more commercial, then Legacy views this as a chance to establish himself, while Davis wants to silence detractors with a commanding performance.
And on the other side, on the flip side of everything, I see whereas though I heard Mike Tyson, make a statement saying, I think that fighters should make fights and put money in their friend's pocket. Could this be a fight where Tank is saying, hey, nobody else wants to fight me. Everybody else is ducking me. Nobody's available. This is a fight where I can put some money in Lamont Roach Jr.'s pocket. Could that be the case? Could he say, I just want to put some money in his pocket? You know, I'm gonna give him an opportunity. Somebody from my area, somebody who has the same color skin that I have, give him an opportunity to be great and to make some money. And now after this fight, if Lamont Roach Jr., I believe he's not going to win. I think he's going to come up short. I'm not saying he's going to get stopped, but if you look at Tank's knockout ratio, you could possibly believe that he can be stopped in this fight. Now,
regardless of how the fight turns out, Lamont Roach has definite goals for his boxing career. He wants to return to the 130 PB class and take on elite opponents like Vasyl Lomachenko. Roach sees the fight against Davis as a springboard to future high-profile fights and greater fame.
Who you looking to fight next after this fight? Like, Tank over, win, lose, draw, whatever. Who you want next?
Look, if y'all don't know, even after I beat Tank, I'm gonna go back down to 130 and handle some smoke that I got down there at 130. All the champions. I got smoke with all the champions. I wanted to unify at least one belt at 130.
Okay.
So whoever the champion is, whoever the champions are, hopefully I can just line them up and then take them out. It's good fights. The champions are Lomachenko, Shakur, and another guy from Ukraine, Denis Baranchik or something like that.
Okay. I feel like you and Shakur is a really... I think people in the comments are actually wanting that fight, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, that'd be a good fight.
Yeah, it'd be a great fight.
Yeah, they could fight. Shakur can boogie for sure.